So Sony is still managing to do very well with the PS4 brand. As you know, the PS4 came out in November of 2013. So it's been about 5 to 6 years since the PS4 has came out on the market. And we just got confirmation as of holiday 2017, Sony still managed to sell 5 million Sony PS4s, and that's very good news for Sony, especially if you take in consideration that Nintendo just made a monster of a system that's selling very well, of course, the Nintendo Switch. So you would think that all the focus would be on the Nintendo Switch on 2017 just because of how much success Nintendo has had with the Nintendo Switch, but it turns out Sony still managed to sell 5 million units in holiday 2017, and that's very good news. And then, of course, there's still these rumors going around the internet. When will Sony make the PS5? Will the PS5 come out in 2019? Will it come out in 2020? Because, of course, the PS5 is going to come out regardless. We just don't know what year the PS5 is going to be coming out on the market. Honestly, if you were to ask me right now, I don't think it's time for a PS5 just because we got confirmation that the Sony PS4 is still selling very well. It would kind of be like Sony shooting themselves in the foot just because they already have a big fan base on the PS4. I think the PS4 is now nearing about 80 million units sold, and that is a lot of units. So why would you want to start fresh with a PS5 system? Everyone would have to rebuy their systems, of course. Developers would have to learn the new code and things like that. It only makes sense that they would just want to stick with the PS4. I think the PS4 is still going to go about 2 or 3 more years. I say probably about 2020 or 2021. They should just go ahead and make a PS5. Also, of course, you take in consideration that they did end up making the PS4 Pro, which came out in November of 2016, and that's only been about a year old now. So there's also more reasons not for them to actually go ahead and make a PS5. It just wouldn't really make sense. Honestly, if you were to ask me which of the big gaming companies besides Nintendo who is going to make the next generation first, is it going to be Microsoft or is it going to be Sony? I personally think that Sony would want to make their next console before Microsoft makes their next console. And let me tell you why. I'm going to explain this really quickly why. This may not make much sense taking into consideration that, of course, Microsoft hasn't really sold too well on the Xbox One brand. I think the Xbox One has only sold nearly about 30 to 40 million units, I want to say, somewhere in that neighborhood. And, of course, for them, that's not really a success for a console, and that's not doing too well. They don't really call that a success. I don't think anyone would call that a major success for Microsoft. So I can see why Microsoft would want to make a new console first, but I just don't think they would want to make an Xbox 2 before Sony made a PS5. Because let me tell you why. The reasoning behind this is because, if you know, the Sony made the PS4 Pro, which is a half step up above the base PS4, but the thing is, comparing the base PS4 to the PS4 Pro, is the PS4 Pro is not really too much of an upgrade over the original PS4. The PS4 Pro is an upgrade. It does output in 4K and it does get higher frame rates, but the thing is, it's not consistent. You're not playing every game at native 4K and 60 frames per second across the board with the PS4 Pro, so it's not really it doesn't really truly feel like a new console per se. That's why I'm saying Sony would want to make a new one, just because their one's not that great and it's not good in terms of power, since Microsoft just, of course, last holiday made the Xbox One X. The Xbox One X really does feel like a truly new generation for the Xbox brand. I don't see why Microsoft would want to make a new Xbox 2 when this Xbox One X is pretty much the Xbox 2, because this has enough power and it's really a big upgrade if you compare it to the original Xbox One or Xbox One S. It really does feel like a really big upgrade. That's why I don't see Microsoft upgrading to an Xbox 2 anytime soon over Sony. I think Sony would do it before Microsoft, just because the PS4 Pro, like I said, is not really too big of an upgrade over the base PS4, and they would want to compete with Microsoft, who made the most powerful console. They would scrap that and then go with the PS5, and then Sony would still be on their Xbox One X for a little while. But honestly, again, if you're asking me, I don't think any company is going to be ready for a next generation, just because, of course, they both made their half iterations, the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, and those are very new consoles. One's been out about a year and one's only been out about a couple months now, so it just doesn't make sense from a logical standpoint or a money standpoint. It just really doesn't want to make sense. You would just be shooting yourself in the foot, and your fan base would just be really pissed that you decided to make a new generation when these generations aren't even old yet and they already made half refreshes of this generation. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.